Fans often like to discuss what exactly Vito had planned for Finn during or after the ball game. Now that Finn was aware of Vito's secret, not to mention he's dating the boss's daughter, if he were to leak this information, it would surely spell Vito's death. Naturally, many assume there was abundant intentionality in Vito wanting Finn to come to the ball game, because he wanted to kill him and get rid of the witness to his dirty deed. Is it beyond the realms of possibility for Vito to kill Finn? Of course not. He's a cold-blooded murderer. He killed his own relative, Jackie Jr., and kills an innocent civilian later on. Vito would have no issue with taking out Finn, especially as his own life was in danger. But in this particular situation, we're talking about Meadow's boyfriend, and Finn would have surely told her he's going with Vito to a ball game. It would surely raise suspicion if Finn never came back, and Meadow would surely put two and two together, especially after her last boyfriend was also taken out by the mob. Could Vito come up with an excuse to Tony as to why Finn never came back home? Maybe telling him he was jumped by two black guys and it's sad when they go so young like that? Maybe say he had an accidental death, or just straight up feign ignorance and say he dropped him off at the library after the game or something. It's risky, but personally I think it's a risk worth taking in that scenario because there's no reason not to kill Finn. The alternative, him blabbering to everyone, is a far more dangerous scenario and would no doubt cement Vito's death sentence. Of course, one possibility fans speculate about is that Vito was actually going to rape Finn. For one, he's gay. But there's also that weird scene at the hospital where Vito grabs Finn's arm suggestively and saying, "We better hope he, i.e. Tony, pulls through, as if suggesting that if Tony dies, Finn's protection is gone and thus he's in for some non-stop ass rape. Of course, much of Vito's mannerisms and dialogue when he first confronts Finn are also suggestive, like saying he sounds like a racehorse pissing, as if perhaps trying to hit on Finn now that the dude knows he bats for the other side and is suggesting that he feels Finn might have a large member. Then there's him saying, "You're strong, that helps," which obviously sends alarm bells ringing in Finn's head as the implication does not go unnoticed, with Finn fearing that Vito might want to give him whipped cream and tuck him in at night, as shown when he says to Meadow, "He came onto me, either that or he wants to kill me, and also maybe he wants to fuck me and then kill me." Maybe Vito's plan wasn't that extreme. Maybe his idea was to give Finn the tickets, go to a ball game with him, and perhaps start showering him with more gifts and tickets. In other words, buying his silence. By buddying up with Finn and acting the part of a friend, he lessens the chance of Finn talking. And intimidating Finn at the bog was a backup plan. In other words, keep quiet and I'll make it worth your while. Say the wrong thing and I'll hurt you. And by Finn taking a favour from Vito, he would essentially be even Stevens, or owe Vito, which is a tried and tested mob tactic to get someone in your pocket, or in this instance, get in their pants, as the suggestive way Vito talks to Finn cannot be denied. Of course, it could simply be Vito trying to strike fear into Finn by implying he might rape him, but the ball game tickets may have been Vito's idea of the beginning of a grooming relationship of sorts, where Vito was hoping Finn may have been secretly gay himself, unable to resist the temptation of Vito's sweaty oval body. Perhaps Vito made a plan to grease Finn's union down the line, or rather, first giving him the ticket, then giving him the pearls. Or maybe just straight up giving him cash. What's next? He gets to fuck him for $1 million? Maybe he paid off the kiss cam operator at the stadium, or, on a more serious note, coaxes, seduces, or intimidates Finn into a sexual act, and then he will have something on him. Vito saying it's bat night further implies that Finn would be spending the night catching, not pitching. To be honest, the best thing I think Vito could have done, other than of course not be stupid enough to blow a security guard at the place you work, is to have been straight, so to speak, with Finn and approach him honestly, saying that he has these inclinations and that if the wrong people found out, he would be in danger. He could appeal to Finn's liberal college attitude, who may have been uncomfortable but would know to keep silent. This all sounds very gay. Vito panicked and he was malfunctioning, like he did when he got caught in season 6 and all he can say is, "It's a joke, I was here." I don't think even Vito knew what he was doing. He threw every tactic at the wall, befriending, intimidation, grooming, and was hoping something would stick. At the very least, we know that he bought tickets and was dressed in Yankee gear. There's an image. So we know he must have planned to go to the game at the very least, as he was standing there like a parade float with mushrooms growing out of his ass waiting for Finn, and he seemed genuinely upset that Finn didn't turn up. Maybe he was frustrated because he realized that Finn wasn't going to bend over so easily, that he wasn't going to be intimidated. But his weird and odd behavior towards Finn at the construction site definitely implies he had something funky after the game planned. Maybe there was no concrete plan, and it was just a combination of hitting on him and intimidating him. After all, Vito's not a very smart guy. He went to a gay club that pays tribute to the mob. Vito actually messed up by scaring Finn, as this led him to get out a suitcase and tell Meadow. And now you have two people knowing, and if you remember, it was Meadow telling her mother what Finn saw that really made things undeniable for Tony. But this topic, who was to blame for Vito's death, is something I've already covered in another video, and I actually argue that the person who was most to blame was Vito himself. So check out the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Finn would most likely have been too scared to turn up to the game even if Vito had played nice, let alone with the way Vito tried to scare him. Plus, Finn probably didn't want a ticket that a minority could have. Perhaps Vito should have tried the "I was here, it's a joke" line and see how far that got him. Or maybe say to Finn, "I'm not Vito, I'm Gino from the cannoli shop."